Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Rugby Paper Roundup. I'm your host, Charlie, joined by Cam as always. Cam, obviously, big weekend ahead with the British and Irish Lions coming up. How are you feeling and how are you doing in general?
Feels like Christmas Eve, doesn't it? It feels like a long time coming with all the warm-up games and all the build-up. But yeah, finally here. Looking forward to it. Yeah, Christmas Eve vibes. Should be a good one. Lineups are out now. Feels like there's good buzz about it. Yeah, so just looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, a good buzz from everyone apart from Wales fans, really, with Jack Morgan's omission. What do you make of that? Because I think it is slightly harsh, but I can see what Farrell's thinking. But yeah, what are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, I think it's fair to say Welsh fans were pretty upset by that. I think he's favoured form over the last 12 months, 2 years, rather than tour form, which I don't disagree with at all. I think most people would say that he's been the form back rower across this tour, and I'd agree with that. But if you look at the past 12 months, 2 years, particularly on the international stage, I think Tom Curry is a better player, and I think he is better in that test match arena. Everyone talks about Sam Underhill as a test match animal. I think Tom Curry's in that bracket as well, right?
Definitely.
You know exactly what you're going to get. He's going to work his absolute socks off. And I think with all this noise surrounding the selection, he's going to have a big game. So I don't mind that selection at all. The one I was more surprised with is Chesham on the bench. Obviously gone for Joe McCarthy in the second row for a bit of bulk, and then gone for that lock type at 6. I just thought that would have been Chesham. I know, obviously, I just said form over the last 12 months, 2 years matters more, but Tagburn hasn't been in the best form on this tour, and Chesham has, and he has that pedigree over the last couple of years. So that was the more surprising one to me.
Yeah, and to be fair, like you say, they're also kind of the same picks in the sense that it's reputation and form over the long term, over short term, which I don't mind because it does show consistency as well from Farrell, and I think McCarthy in the second row is a pretty tidy decision in terms of just being that pure power to have. So yeah, I do like the fact that he's been consistent with those two picks, but yeah, personally I'd have gone for Chesham. I think I probably would have gone for Curry, maybe Morgan, but yeah, Curry and Tagburn not too devastated because they're both class.
Yeah, they are. But that's definitely the dynamic he's wanted from the start, right? Those two locks and then the lock playing 6. I know he's played, genuine 6s in the back row for lots of the warm-up games, but you could always tell he was going to do that for the first test match and probably the whole series. I just thought it would be Chesham over Byrne, but I don't think that's one you can be, too upset with, to be honest. I mean, Byrne he's world class, isn't he?
Yeah, no, exactly. And yeah, there's not too many other picks that people wouldn't have had going into possibly even the tour, really. A lot of it is more of the same. Maybe the centres, but again, you can't really argue with Jones and Tuipulotu. So yeah, it's pretty.
Farrell? Where's Owen Farrell on the bench?
Well, I don't know if that. Not many people would have expected that. like, would you?
No, I was just joking. I think there was a lot of excitement and clamour after his 30-minute cameo the other week, but he was never going to make the test squad.
Yeah, I think I did actually predict him for that, though, to be fair. So.
You did. I think you just got caught up in the hype, don't worry. Marcus Smith on the bench, I mean, maybe a point of contention. Some people wouldn't have thought that, especially if you went for a 6-2 split, but he hasn't opted to. Marcus Smith played that role the whole tour, right? I don't think he started a game. Definitely not a fly-off. Maybe one at fullback, but most of his appearances have been from the bench in that role, covering 10 and 15. So it sort of seemed like that's been his plan the whole time. Andy Fowler to have Marcus Smith as that 22 in that 22 jersey to come on and play 10 if he needs, 15. And then Bundyaki at 23 as well. I wonder if Mac Hansen would have been there if he wasn't injured. But we'll have to see for the next back.
Yeah, could have been completely different as well. Could have been Farrell 22, Hansen 23 to sort of Farrell covering the centres and other
Yeah,
centre
true.
and fly off and Hansen fullback in back three. Yeah, who knows though? And obviously Elliot Daly could have either been starting or in that position if he wasn't injured.
He 100% would have been in that squad.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
suspect it would have been in place of Aki at 23.
Yeah.
But he would have definitely been in that squad if he was fit.
Yeah, but again, that just shuffles things around and changes it a bit from what was otherwise predicted. And I mean, the Wallaby squad's a little bit. I don't want to say strange because that suggests that it's not a good squad. Obviously, it's a very good lineup, but there are a couple of inclusions, mainly injury related as well. But it doesn't look entirely full strength, to be honest.
Yeah, Rob Valentini is a massive miss. He's for me one of the best back rowers in the world, by far their best player. It's interesting to hear Joe Schmidt say as well that if it was the third test decider, he would have played. So he could have played, but they're thinking about the whole series, which I get. But that is that's a massive out. That completely changes the dynamic of their back row and their pack. To be honest, it's their biggest ball carrying threat, and that's a big deal. No Will Skelton either. As you say, a few injuries, but still a strong side, as you say. Tom Liner at fly half's an interesting one as well. Obviously, Lolosio out injured as well, but they've loaded their bench, which is the biggest point for me as well. They've got Angus Bell and Tom Hooper and Tizano on the bench, and Kellaway and Donaldson. It sort of seems like they're preparing to be in the game for the first. If they can stay in the game for the first hour, unload that bench. Because I mean, if you're not doing that, why is Angus Bell on the bench? One of the best loose heads in the world, right? That's their plan. If you look at the way Lions have started games down under, apart from the last one against the Invitational side, it's been pretty poor. So I'm guessing Joe Schmidt's master plan is to keep it tight for the first hour and then unload that bench to try and nick it at the end.
Yeah, and I think that does come with massive risks though, because like you say, the Lions have started slow but have grown into games and got better as it's gone along. So to not necessarily target the start of a game does seem potentially like a bit of a missed opportunity in that sense, because the Lions get better as they go along, and targeting that stage of a game just, to me, is potentially not the right decision. I mean, we'll find out tomorrow, but yeah.
It's like horse racing, Charlie. If your horse starts out of the blocks quick and you're trying to hold on, it never works. But if you sit behind a little bit and stay close and try and finish strong, that's usually the tactic. So, he has to take risks, right? Their team is not as good as the Lions, to put it frank. He has to try things and take risks, because if he's just going to try and match them up front and do things the normal way, the Lions will beat the Wallabies, because they are just better man for man, and they've played more together in this past month. So he's got to take risks.
Yeah, and I think that's part of what I like about Joe Schmidt as well, because he does seem to know his team's limitations and tend to play into the strengths. And he always seems aware of where his team's weak and what to almost avoid. So, like I say, I personally think it's a potentially strange tactic, but I'm not gonna argue with Joe Schmidt in terms of rugby knowledge and tactical nous. So we'll see how
he's been around the block. He knows this team very well, and he's got a plan. He knows he's going to have to think outside the box and take risks, and I think they're going to be embracing that underdog mentality as well.
Definitely, and at Suncorp as well. I mean, from what I've seen, it's a stadium that it's very close together, and it almost seems like the crowd can get on top of you more so than a lot of the kind of AFL and cricket stadiums that other games and I mean the other tests really are played at. So I think that'll play into their hands.
That's a good point. I was watching there's an NRL game played at Suncorp on Thursday, and the pitch looks quick. It looks like a carpet. So hopefully, if there's not much rain, we're going to get some running rugby. I think there was just under 70 points in that game. So I think we'll see some fast stuff out there.
Decent. And I mean, I saw as well a stat that said that the Lions have played Australia 8 times in Brisbane and haven't lost yet. So I mean,
that's crazy.
That is mental. And the overall record's very impressive as well. I think it's 17 wins from 23, which was surprisingly positive.
Yeah, eight in a row in one specific ground away from home is unheard of, and you wouldn't bet against the Lions to make it 9 in a row.
Yeah, and I mean, what are your general predictions for the first game and I guess the whole series? And then I'll give mine as well.
Yeah, I'll go first game first. I got a few picks, as I just said. Thursday at Suncorp, that rugby league game looked a fast track, and I like over 50.5 points. So 51 points or more in the whole game. I think you'll see some defensive frailties from both sides. You'll see, any discipline will be punished with 3 points. And it's a feel-good bet as well. I'm not going to lie. It's you want to see points in the opening game, don't you? So that one's 10 to 11. So just sort of under double your money as a more bigger bet. But the one I really like is Hugh Jones to score 7 to 4. So nearly triple your money. And he's scored 3 tries on this tour so far: 2 against the Tars, 1 against the Reds. Linking up with Tuipulotu and Finn Russell again. Scored 4 tries in the Six Nations, including that hat trick. And I think you'll see that, that strike play where it's off the scrum, Finn Russell, short ball to Tuipulotu, and then Hugh Jones running that line off Tuipulotu. Saw it against, I believe it was the Tars. They played together for about 6 minutes before, I believe, Finn Russell came off. And that was the only strike play they ran. And Hugh Jones just got taken down before the line. So I think that's my best bet of the game, Hugh Jones to score.
Yeah.
Another outside shot I have, which is slightly anti-Lions, but it goes on the theme of the Lions starting games badly on this tour. So it's Australia to lead after the first 20 minutes, but the Lions to win the game.
Yeah.
And that's 10 to 3. So it's nearly
I like that.
Over quadruple your money. As you say, Lions, apart from that last game, have not started the tour well. If it's nitty gritty in the first 20 minutes or so, and there's a few penalties exchanged, or the Wallabies score a close range try, something like that, leading the first 20, and then the Lions to sort themselves out and show their quality throughout the rest of the game. So yeah, I like that one as well.
Yeah, and to be fair, that echoes what I put in the predictions piece that I've just done for the rugby paper. Obviously, I said slow start from the Lions, bit of a cagey one, maybe Australia to take a lead, and yeah, I fully agree though the Lions will win. And I think I said by 5 points. I think it'll be a close game, separated by a score, maybe a couple. But
the line is 11.5, right? So Australia plus 11.5, and I did some digging, and the only other time in the professional era that the Lions have won the first game of first game of a test series by 12 or more was in 2001. So they've only done it once. That was against Australia, but 11.5 feels like a lot as well in the first test match, despite the quality. Yeah. So that, if you're Australian or fancy them, that might be a way to go as well.
Yeah, no, I quite like that as well, to be fair. Do you have any other bets or any other general predictions maybe for the series as a whole?
3-0 Lions. Again, 10 to 11, so just under a shade of double your money. But yeah, as we spoke about this whole video, it's the golfing quality is stark. The Lions are just better man for man, and I think I can't see a game where I can see a game, but I think there's good value on 3-0.
Yeah, definitely.
They're just the better side, to put it bluntly.
Yeah, and I personally would never go for 3-0 because I think that is a bit risky. But it's definitely not within the realms of possibility, and it's worth a punt if you're an optimistic Lions fan, I would say. But me being quite a pessimist, probably wouldn't personally go for that. But yeah,
I've also got on the theme of Hugh Jones, top try scorer for the series.
Interesting.
6-1. I think he's fourth favourite. Someone who should start every game. And as I said earlier, someone who's already scored tries on this tour and can score tries. So yeah, 6-1, good value on that, I think.
Yeah, very good value on that for 6-1. To be fair. Yeah. Anything else from you? I think that's everything from me. But
no, bring it on. Excited to watch.
Yeah, no, it'd be class. And yeah, it's 4 years / even 8 years in the waiting, given obviously no fans in South Africa. So be good to see them in front of a crowd, and hopefully it'll be a good game. Obviously, we're going to both be backing the Lions, but you don't want a blowout, and I don't think it will be a blowout. So yeah, all set for a big game and a massive stage.